Welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast. I believe we're on what episode, like 2680.
Does
I
it
mean,
feel
it
like
feels like we've done a bazillion of these. I mean, I think we're mid 400s, but
and people still want to listen to us? Thanks, guys.
I know. I mean, are
Thanks,
like,
guys.
what do we talk about this week? Because
We've talked about it
talked
all.
about everything, but
Maybe we haven't.
yeah,
We still get people writing us in and saying, "Hey, you haven't touched on this." We're like, "Whoa, we missed that. We
yeah,
missed
it's
that."
true
And if it's
that.
something we can't talk about, we get Austin in on Therapist Austin on Fridays. So if you've missed any of those, they're pretty great. He's pretty great.
Yeah, he's better than we are, like for sure. But anyways, you get what you pay for. You're paying free, so you get
Free 99.
39.
Free 99.
No, anyways, today's gonna be a good episode. I always say that, but I think this is gonna be a good one. And today we're gonna talk about how you become what you consume, meaning, in the videos you watch, the movies, the music you listen to, social media. It really is amazing how those types of things can shape your personality, shape what type of person you essentially become. If you remember, quite a while back, we did an episode with Nate Klemp, and he wrote a book called Open, talking about the impacts of social media. We rattled off a ton of statistics, and the statistics were absolutely crazy. I mean, it was like something like 11 or 12% would rather lose their finger than give up social media. 11% would rather give up sex altogether than social media. I mean, that wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even take like a millisecond to decide that.
The women.
Like, come on, people, what's going on? Anyways,
Just kidding. I didn't say that.
I don't think we recognize, me included, Amy included, I don't think we recognize the impact either in a positive way or a negative way that what we consume is really how we're going to view things in our marriage, how we're going to view life, things like that. So we're going to have a good discussion on that today. So I think we have some statistics and different things like that. So Amy's shaking her head. She's the statistician.
The
Is
what?
that even a word?
I
The
am not. I don't have any stats. I don't have any
statistician.
stats in front of me.
You don't?
No?
Oh,
Do
let's
you?
get those loaded up.
I thought you had them.
Oh, see how good we communicated about this?
We usually
Better
communicate.
communication, right?
Okay, so impacting marriage. We're not just talking about social media, we're talking about consumption, like altogether. So here's a quote. Consumption is not just diet, it's media, it's conversations, it's social circles, it's habits, and even internal thoughts. Set the stage by expanding, like we need to talk about like what expansion, like what consuming really is. It's not like when we think of consuming, we think of like what we watch and what we eat, right?
Mhm.
It's so much more than that, and that's kind of what we're gonna dive
Well,
into
let's talk
today.
about that. Let's think of what we consume as far as what we eat. You've heard the saying, you become what you eat, right? Like,
Your health, yeah, absolutely.
let's just say I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go to my favorite restaurant every single day, right? And
You would die.
I'm gonna use the example of McDonald's. It is
Smoked
not my
taco.
favorite
I was
smoked
gonna
taco.
say smoked
Yes.
taco or
Okay, that's a great example. Smoked taco. Oh my, I feel like when I go in there, I've died and gone to heaven without the death. I just feel like I'm in heaven. And I eat way too much, and when I'm done eating, I feel awful because I gorged and ate too much. That's a great example though. If I were to eat that every single day and consume that, like I'm gonna start gaining weight like crazy. I'm gonna stop feeling good. I'm probably gonna have a heart attack and, potentially die. It's going to change things big time in my body and
Mhm.
probably how I think. Anyways,
Great.
people get the point, right? Like it's going to change us in a crazy way. The same things with social media and the things that we consume through our movies and different things like that as well too.
Mhm.
Um, I was just thinking of an example. So our daughter, who's 13, um, she got on and watched a show called Dance Moms. And Amy and I don't know what Dance Moms
I
is.
don't know what Dance Moms is.
Well, we do now,
I
but
did that. I just didn't realize it was so annoying.
she starts binge watching that, and within a few days period of time, we noticed that she's like, you know, talking to us differently. She's kind of acting like a brat, and we're like, what is going on? And
Attitude, yeah.
her attitude, literally in a matter of days, is just starts totally changing.
We're like, no more dance moms for you.
And yeah, like what in the world is going on? So we banned her from Dance Moms because we're like, that's the only thing that's changed, right? And I caught an episode and I'm like, oh my heck, this is trash,
It is
right?
trash,
Like,
yeah.
so, anyway, sorry for that. If you're a Dance Mom fan
Yeah,
out
I'm
there,
not against dancing shows. It's just the attitudes in that. The kids are brats, the moms are brats. So, like,
we're just
just
making a real point that happened.
it just happened, and you could see a shift.
Yeah.
You could
So
see a personality shift, and we're like, oh, cut that out. Things go back to normal. Like, that's how it works.
yeah, and that's what happens. So like at the end of the week, we're like, oh my heck, she is acting like the biggest brat. She's, saying things that they say on Dance Moms. We're like, who is this girl? This is not the girl we raised.
I think that
So
you're
so we said, you're banned.
exaggerating
You
a
are
little.
you are banned from Dance Moms. And our angel came back to us. Like she
Oh,
was
did she?
she kind of came back to us.
They close to exaggerate. Anyways,
Yeah, my
do you want
point
me to tell
is,
the real story?
okay, my point is, and I'm being serious about this, is like we could see a drastic change in her attitude and how she looked at things literally the second she started watching that.
And that goes for anybody or anything, right? That's the whole point. It goes for anybody or anything. So we're not getting into pornography on this, and we know nothing about pornography, so we're not going to act like we do. But we have plenty of friends, family, and therapist Austin that talks about this, how it absolutely changes you. It changes your mood, it becomes an addiction, it changes your whole personality, it rewires your brain. We know that scientifically change causes all these issues, right? So and that might be like a major example, but the little things impact us also.
Yeah.
Little things impact us also. So,
Well,
okay, yeah.
and we're not going to get political in this, but the other day I was kind of just watching the news and someone had tried to hurt and kill someone. And as they were looking into the person's background, they're like, oh, this was a really good person. He was very nice. The family loved him. Um, and everyone's trying to figure out like what happened. And what happened is he started consuming things that kind of took him down a rabbit hole that was very negative about this certain person. And that negativity got so bad that it drove him to do something that I think, everyone was shocked that he did. And you see that all the time, in our country or even throughout the world where people are just starting to do things that maybe normally they wouldn't do because they followed these or consume. I guess bottom line is because of what they're consuming, right?
Mhm.
It's taken a person that you would think is just like a normal everyday person and they start consuming something and that consumption turns them into something else. And I totally believe that to be true. We see a lot on social media where maybe we hear from a lot of women where women are, watching videos maybe about marriage or different things like that. And, these certain videos are talking about how horrible their men are, how horrible a husband is, and things like that. And or vice versa, right? And you start consuming that kind of content and you are going to start perceiving things that way and looking at the world that way and believing those things. And so again, the purpose of this podcast is just we got to be really careful what we're consuming and what we're watching and taking into our life because it certainly is going to impact the way we look at our husband, our wife, our kids, our marriage, ourself, just life in general.
Absolutely. So topic number 1, mental diet equals emotional climate. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to directly affects your mood, your patience, and your empathy, which are key ingredients in a healthy marriage relationship. So mood, patience, and empathy. So when you were just talking and I threw in your self-esteem too, like everything impacts your entire mood impacts your entire marriage. Your patience affects your entire marriage. Your empathy and kindness affects your entire marriage. So when we're like, you're literally rewiring your brain almost every time you take in information, not rewiring your brain, but like every time you take in or consuming information, you're changing a thought process in your brain, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
every little thing that we take in. If I went and hung out with a bunch of negative wives once a week that just trash their husbands,
Or gossiping.
gossiping about their husbands, whatever, just super negative about marriage, my brain eventually is going to get changed just being around that, whether I think it will or not.
Yeah.
If we're constantly watching stuff that puts us in a bad mood, if you're consciously watching toxic news all the time, it's going to change your mood. It has to. Like, you're human, right? If you're watching really positive stuff and funny comedies and bringing more positivity and you're hanging around positive people, that affects your mood. Like, all these outside influences absolutely affect us, which affects our marriage. And I don't think that we really deeply think about that. And
Oh,
I mean, obviously, we're going to get into social media next, that like I don't think we have any idea, and I know it's been what, like 10 years since social media has been a massive, or longer. How long has
yeah.
it been? I don't know.
Yeah.
But like the last 10 years, society is like, we don't even know what to do with this. We don't know what long term, we're starting to see the long term effects. We're starting to see things that are happening because of it. But I mean, we're still in this new stage and it's destroying relationships. It's destroying a lot of people's mental health for themselves, for relationships, for I can, I don't even know where to start with that. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. So we interviewed Nate Klemp a while ago, and this is probably one of the best books we've read. He basically, dove in and said, okay, I'm just going to dive full into technology and kind of see how this impacts people's lives. And he did a bunch of statistics talking to people like, what percentage of people would rather lose their finger than give up social media? What percentage of people would rather be on social media than be intimate with their spouse. And anyways, he shares a ton of statistics and they're mind-blowing. We do have that in the app. So if you're interested in that book, go ahead and go into the app. It's called Open, Living in an Expansive Mind in a Distracted World. And it's just a great book. He shares his experience of kind of jumping all into where I think it was a week or so where he just for 24/7 he had the TV on, social media, and just what it did to him, his attitude, everything like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine doing an experiment
oh
where you have
man,
to like, he's like, I was so sick of it after I couldn't even wait to be done with it.
yeah,
You probably want to go hide in the mountains.
yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, social media. We're going to dive into that for just a sec. I know we've done entire podcast episodes on social media, but unrealistic expectations highlight how curated lives can distort perceptions of what marriage should look like, leading to comparison and dissatisfaction. So, I agree and disagree with this. I think that we need to be careful with always watching things that look perfect. But I also think that sometimes when people portray, like we probably do on our social media, portray that we have a great marriage, and we do. So, but we put a lot of work into that, and I think that's what it's saying is like you don't know how much work and energy and effort someone is putting into something either. Do you
Well,
know what I mean? So you think it's like unrealistic, and some things probably are fake, some things probably are unrealistic. But you have to remember, like, you gotta be really careful about what you're constantly comparing to.
Well, and I think the difference too, and like a lot, I'm glad you brought that up. Like a lot of the videos that we do, we're encouraging people to be better spouses, right? So that's
Absolutely.
not a negative thing. We're saying that, hey, this is what a marriage can look like, and it is obtainable. And we fully believe that it is, and we're
Hmm.
encouraging people to
Hmm.
become better people. I think where it gets bad is where you're envying or you're jealous or you're seeing different things. I've shared this in previous episodes, but we have so many new listeners. Um, we have what we call the Parade of Homes here in our city, where every year they have just amazing homes that are built that you get to walk through and see. And some of these homes are like $12 million, just insane. I mean, and you walk through them. And so every year, Amy and I would go to that, and I would come out of that feeling like, oh my heck, like our life sucks, right? Like not really, but I would come out of that feeling like I want more, and why do we not have that, and things like that. And I really could see a change in my attitude. I'm like, what we have is great. Like, and so I made for me, I'm just like, I'm not going to those anymore because I don't want to feel the way that I do, like envying and things like that. And I can honestly say I haven't been in probably 3 or 4 years, and every year it comes up, I'm just like, I don't need to go. I don't have that desire. but I'm telling you, it's real. Like when you start envying something, or like Amy said, seeing something on social media and start wondering why you don't have that, or why don't I have this nice house or this nice car, or their lives are perfect, why don't I have that? It can really start making us look at life from a standpoint of, maybe bitterness and instead of appreciation and gratitude for the things that we do have.
Nice.
I rambled, sorry.
That's
Back to
good.
you.
Um, I don't feel like I have that same mindset that Nick has. I'm a little different. I love I love getting older because I feel like I have some friends that are, barely making it financially, and I have some friends that are like loaded rich. And so I go to some of these houses like all the time just because we're friends. So I see it constantly anyways. It's not just the parade of homes. So I think what I've learned is like some of my friends that don't have much are sometimes happier. And sometimes some of the friends that I know that are living this high life of money are not always the happiest. So I think the older I get, the more I realize money doesn't create happiness. Fame definitely doesn't create happiness. You know what I mean? I think you start to like mature and be like, it's not a money thing. It's not a who has what kind of thing. It's a people that appreciate and have gratitude, like you said, and just I don't
It's a
know. It's
relationship. It's a
relationships. It
relationship with your
really just it's
spouse and your kids.
relationships. And I'm like, the older I get, the more I'm just like trying to teach our kids, like, it's not about, I mean, yeah, money takes away some problems, but then a lot of people deal with like health issues and all other sorts of trials, right? So I just think I don't know. It's nice to start getting mature and growing up, and you just turned 50, and seeing both sides, a lot of stuff like it's not the things that we think are going to bring happiness when you can finally understand like it's literally your relationships that create your happiness. It's great. It's a great place to be in when you finally realize that, and that jealousy kind of starts to go away, right?
Yeah, and what we've noticed, and it goes right in line with what we're talking about. So we've noticed some people are like trying to keep up with the others, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
they have something, I need to show that I have something
Hmm.
better. We see it.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, Amy and I live in the poorest house in the whole area, which
Which is
is
still a
still,
nice
we
house,
still
but
feel very blessed, but we just see a lot of things around us to where there's just a lot of people comparing and, oh, I need to show that I have better and things like that. My point is I think, just getting back to what we're talking about, what you consume is going to become your reality. And so we
Mhm.
just need to be very careful again about what we're consuming on social media, what we're consuming in life. It really will take away like the gratitude and the things that we have in our life.
I just wish that on social media we showed more of what the rest of the world really lived like because we have a son that just got back from living in Guatemala for 2 years. And that was really not that we didn't know what that kind of looks like over there, but to be reminded, we talk to him every so often all the time and see the situations going on there and the housing and what the people were dealing with. And it's like, what a great reminder to get off social media and be like, this is not usually realistic. Like where we live, I feel so blessed because I've seen like you know what I mean? Like it's just so eye-opening. And
Yeah.
his mom goes to Africa and does all this humanitarian stuff and is always coming back and telling her the culture shock of coming back and we're just so blessed. And so I just the entire point is the more gratitude and the more appreciation you have for your own life, the happier you're going to be. And so, what we consume, whether you're looking at she has this, he has this, they have this all the time, of course, you're going to just become unhappy, be jealous, start to covet, and just kind of wreck your own life, which wrecks your marriage, right? So, anyway,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think, we obviously it's no secret that we're Christians. So, I think that's the devil's way of destroying people's relationships
Hmm.
is to simply get in and make us feel like we need more, or we have to have more. Why don't we have this, or why do our neighbors have this and we don't have this? And again, social media, I think, is that biggest platform where you just see people traveling, you see people, buying new cars or having this lifestyle or having this marriage that you're just like, I wish I had that. And then we become frustrated and maybe a little bit bitter, and why don't I have that, and resentful instead of being appreciative for the things that we do have. But yeah, it's real. I mean, I think he I think he really gets us that way when we think, why does it matter what we're scrolling or looking at?
Mhm.
But we really do have to be careful.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't even get jealous of that kind of stuff. I get jealous of people that post all their trips with their sisters. I'm like, I just want a sister so bad. Anyways, that's dumb, I know, but yeah, I really wish I had a sister. Okay, you ready to move on? Conversations you entertain. Gossip, negativity, cynical views on relationships quietly erode respect and trust in your own marriage. I'm like, I know I already mentioned that, but I don't think we realize the impact of consuming negative people around us. Me and Nick had a goal a couple of years ago. It was like 2021. And we said, this is the year we're getting every toxic person out of our life. We are done with toxic people. We are setting some boundaries, which we did. We are removing drama.
Well, we could see
Literally, and just removing as you don't ever speak to me again, but just setting boundaries where they didn't need to affect our life in a negative way. And that looks different with every kind of relationship, but whether it was business partners or just family members, just like what boundary do we set for our marriage to protect our marriage to not bring that negative toxicity in?
And it's not easy to do, but I can tell you that when we did
Mhm.
it, it's made a lot of difference. It's made my and Amy's marriage a lot better, a lot more
Mhm.
peaceful. I mean, it's amazing how much like outside influences could come in and start impacting your relationship, right?
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden you're arguing about something or, whatever it is, and it's from an outside influence.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Okay, entertainment and normalization. TV shows, movies, music often normalize infidelity, disrespect, or emotional detachment. So, if you're repeating this exposure, it's going to reshape your beliefs. That's what's happening. So, I know we've already talked about like we're really careful about what we watch.
Hmm.
TV shows, movies, music, even music. Like I have found myself sitting in my car starting to sing a song, and my kids are like, "Mom, do you even know what that song is?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in my 40s." No. Oh, it's really bad. Didn't even realize that. Do you know what I mean? And they know because they're teenagers, but it's like we kind of just get desensitized to
Yeah.
things that are like, okay, that is negatively affecting me and didn't even realize it till someone points it out. So I just think we have to be careful. Like me and Nick will scroll like the Roku at night trying to find a movie. And like everything is so bad. Like some of the graphics, some of the titles, some like I'm just like, I can't even believe this is in front of our face for anybody to watch at any time. Like it's unbelievable. And we're like, no, 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 no. I guess we're not watching anything. Like out of like
Oh
hundreds and
yeah, it's crazy.
like 1,000 options, there's like maybe a couple good ones. So I just don't think we realize how impactful some of this negative crap that's on TV and people aren't even realizing it. It's so sad.
The reason why we're doing this podcast is because this is an area Amy and I have consciously tried to do a lot better in. Whether it's through social media, whether it's through movies, whether it's through just content or things like that. It's funny, we have a social media account and I never even, I mean, I'll do some videos and stuff for Amy to put on there, but um, we get so many negative people, not because of our brand or necessarily what we do, but we get so many negative people. Like the comments on there are absolutely vicious and
They just
not,
hate marriage.
they hate marriage, they hate being married. They think their spouse is the worst thing ever. And I noticed when I started to look at those comments coming in constantly, I was getting kind of depressed and like, oh my head, like this is, you get frustrated. You're like, how do I respond to these people? And anyways, like that. So luckily, Amy's really good at
Brushing it off.
brushing it off and responding to that. But I could see how those negative comments just constantly coming in for me, anyways, were changing my attitude, my perception. Just it was frustrating, and that may sound really dumb, but again, this is just another example of exactly what we're talking about: is putting yourself in a situation or putting yourself out there to where you're constantly getting, negative stuff or things like that.
I follow some marketing accounts, cute girl that just like it helps people with marketing. She has like a big scale business or something, and she always has some great tips and stuff, but she um has a deformity on her face and people are really, really mean. Like really really mean. Like I can't even believe that a complete stranger can make a comment like they do. Like it's unbearable to watch. Like it's so sad. And I'm just like, you can only as a human being take so much of that in before it absolutely is going to affect your self-esteem.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know. It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. Crazy. Okay, moving on.
Moving
Okay,
on.
internal consumption, self-talk. What you tell yourself about your spouse, they never listen, they don't care, it's always about them. That is going to become your reality over time. So, consuming internal consumption, your self-talk is either going to be positive, it's going to be negative, it can be whiny, it can be complaining, it can be, I know that like every personality is different. We have our half glass full, half glass empty, whatever, realistic. But if you're constantly telling yourself, it's all about my husband, it's all for my husband, it's always about my husband, or vice versa,
Yeah.
you're gonna kind of like rewire your brain to think that something is negative like
And
that
then you're going to look at it from that light all the time, right?
all the time.
I mean,
Yep.
Amy and I, from what we do, have an amazing opportunity to just see everything out there. And it is amazing as how many people married couples, like no matter between a husband and wife, no matter what the husband does, it'll never be good enough for the wife because the wife is constantly looking at him as like, oh, he doesn't do things good enough. He never does things right or whatever.
Mhm.
And that no matter what that husband does, he can do 99 things right and one thing that's not right. And the wife's going to look at that one thing that he did wrong and focus 100% on that and completely forget about the 99 things that he did right. And that goes vice versa as well, right?
Mhm.
That's just an example, but you're exactly right. If we start looking, um, I love what Greg and Julie Gorman said. We'll find what we're looking for, right?
You feed what grows, you starve, and it will die. Did I say
Yeah.
that wrong? I said it wrong,
What you
but
feed grows, what
what
you
you starve
starve
dies.
dies. And I
Yep.
think that's really good as well too, because if you're feeding your body with these negative things or social media or movies, that's going to grow inside of you and you are going to become what you consume.
If you turn them off, you turn your phone off, you go on a walk with your spouse, hold hands, talk for a couple hours, have a good, healthy conversation, your marriage grows.
Yeah, it's just
When you sit on your
simple.
bed and swipe your phone for 2 hours before you go to bed, you're starving your marriage of that connection. That choice is yours. I mean, it really is. Like, you have to be intentional about these choices.
And we're not sitting here saying you can't be on your phone.
No,
What we're saying is just
you're not perfect at this.
be very careful what type of information you're consuming.
It's just being mindful of it, and we have to be mindful of it too. Like we all do.
Sure. Yeah,
This is something that everyone has to do all the time, right?
well, like we said, we're doing things in our life. We're practicing what we preach. I mean, we are constantly saying, okay, what can we do to, be careful about what we're watching or what we're listening to or those types of things.
And if we scroll our phone, that's fine. But okay, after a certain amount of time, we're gonna get outside, we're gonna go walk together, we're gonna go do something together. Like it's balance, right? Okay, spiritual or value-based input, whether it's faith, philosophy, personal development, what grounds you can either stabilize or destabilize your relationship. So I that one I just interpret like reading, listening to. I had some friends the other day make a comment. A lot of them have this group and they share podcasts and ideas and one lady is like, I don't listen to podcasts. I don't want to rethink some of these things. I can't remember what she said, but I kind of agree with certain things. Like we have to be careful that it's helping us improve. And I mean, there's just so many topics. I don't even know where to go with that. But what you listen to and what you consume, listening or watching or just hearing from people
Yeah.
who you put on a pedestal and want to listen. Like, okay, this is dumb. Nick's gonna roll his eyes. We had some people that we knew that got into the scam, started listening to a bunch of people that started investing. I knew it was a scam. We didn't get involved. I've watched the whole thing unfurl the last few weeks. I've been kind of addicted to listening to and watching this whole thing play out. But that's what I'm trying to say is that we have to be careful who we're getting information from because so many people fell for this and there were so many red flags and now they all kind of like
Well, now
got screwed in the end, right? That's
Now,
scary.
and now there's blatant things that are just like, how in the world could anyone believe this?
Right,
Like now
right,
new things that are happening to where like,
right.
oh, you got to pay us more money if you want to stay involved. And you're just like, how in the world can people believe that?
But they do.
But again, they've consumed certain things, and so they're fully on board with what they believe. And that,
Mhm.
I think the most important thing is that is their reality.
Right.
And I think, going back to what we're talking about, if you're consuming things, whether right or wrong, that is going to become your reality.
Mhm.
So it's so important to just be careful about what you're consuming.
Share that because I've watched a lot of people getting hurt by this because they believed in something that they were told, which wasn't accurate, and they weren't listening to other people. And so you being very careful about who you're listening to, who you're getting information. Now, those people that have lost a lot of money in this, it's now affecting their marriage. If their spouse wasn't involved, it's going to affect their marriage even more. Like, you know what I mean? You just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, so. Okay, boundaries on consumption. Practical ways. Um, what practical ways can we like put boundaries on these things, right? Like limiting toxic content, setting social media boundaries, which we always talk about, choosing intentional influences, the people in our life. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've been married almost 24 years, and I feel like it did take us about half our marriage to realize that a lot of the things that we are putting in our life, or people we are allowing in
Yeah.
our life, business partners we are allowing in our life, were shaping and affecting our marriage big time. And I think that was like oh, we finally understood that one day, and I was like, oh, we got some goals to set, right? So I mean, I think this is such a married couple conversation to have. Like, how do we get on the same page with this? There's a lot of things to set boundaries about, but or around.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're talking about setting boundaries because I think that is the most important thing, right?
Mhm.
If you don't set boundaries, what's there to protect you? I mean, a great example is so I like to listen to different podcasts or different things like or different shows. And I
News
know,
outlets.
yeah, like news outlets. And I noticed some people that I really liked were kind of like doom and gloom, right? Like, oh my heck, everything's falling apart and this and that. And I would feel bad or worse after listening to them. And I found some people that kind of talk about the same things, but now they're talking about like the future's bright, like,
Mhm.
great things are ahead for us. And here they are kind of covering the same things, but now I feel completely uplifted and hopeful and different things, just about general things, just the way they're presenting something. And so I think that's so true,
Mhm.
but setting boundaries, I know that's been the biggest thing for Amy and I is when we actually, instead of just talk about it, we're actually like, no, here's what we're gonna do and not do. And one of those is like rated R movies and different content, things like that. And I can honestly say like my life has been changed in such a positive way by simply just not watching rated R movies. Our marriage is better. The way I look at Amy's better, our intimacy's better. Every aspect of our life is better because of what we're taking into our lives, more positive.
And I just wanted to add that we have so many people say, I don't ever want pornography to overtake our marriage. I don't want my husband to get into that, or my wife, or vice versa. Or I don't want my wife to read these horrible sexual romance. But like it always starts with baby steps. So we have to be really careful. Like what you're watching right now is probably going to lead to something could worse, right? Like we just got to be careful to like be
Okay.
very mindful about what we're taking
And one of
in.
the things I want to say as well is we're not sitting here telling you what you can do or what you can't
No.
do or what you should do or what you shouldn't do. Like the rated R movies, I don't care if other people want to watch rated R movies, great. That's fine. What I'm saying is for our marriage, we set specific boundaries in place that help us. And every marriage is going to look different, right? Like your marriage might look totally different about what your boundaries are. The key is finding what you and your spouse agree to as to what those
Mhm.
boundaries are.
Right.
Because again, you're protecting your marriage. So just because I want a 20-foot wall around my marriage, you may only want a 10-foot wall. You may want a 50-foot wall. The great thing is you get to decide how much you're going to protect your marriage and keep everything that you don't want in your marriage out of your marriage.
That's great. That's really good. Yes, because well, it works for us, it's going to be different for you. And the last one, we'll end with this, consuming together versus consuming separately. Shared inputs, as in books, podcasts, experiences, can actually align your values and strengthen connection, while totally separate worlds will create drift in your marriage.
That's a good one.
Um, I like that. I like when you're like, hey, I'm reading this book. Not that like husbands and wives need to read or watch and do everything the same. It's just, it's nice when you have something like yesterday. I'm watching this whole scam thing unfurl, and I've been really involved in it. It's been like a movie or a book in my life the last couple weeks. I just know so many people. It's so realistic. But I showed Nick a video yesterday, and for a couple of them, I'm like, just watch this. And then we had a conversation about it. Like when you can share things with your spouse that you're interested in, or vice versa, and then you kind of can get on the same page.
Yeah.
That just builds emotional connection when you create things that you can have deep conversations about. And I mean, we went on a walk for a couple hours. We were talking about something else, but I'm like, we had a 2 hour talk last night, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Because it was really important. So here's just a question to end with. If someone or a professional analyzed everything that you consume daily in your life, would they predict a strong or a struggling marriage? And I really think it's just that easy to dissect. Okay, if your marriage is not where you want it to be, if it's just kind of mediocre, if it just kind of sucks right now, if your marriage seems really passionate right now, just take a minute and think, what am I consuming? And is that consuming affecting that outcome? So if you have a really passionate marriage and you're listening right now, I bet that you're consuming fun activities together. I
Yep.
bet you're both consuming watching movies that you both want and it brings you closer. I bet you're consuming date nights and
You're
good
talking about
conversation.
how you can make your marriage better. You're always
Right.
looking for that instead of using the excuse like so many people do, well, that's just marriage. It sucks,
Yeah.
right?
Or if you are at the bottom right now and you're just like, I need so much marriage help, it's not even funny. Look at what you're consuming. Are you hanging around toxic people that talk crap? Is your spouse? Are you letting scrolling overtake date night or deep conversations in your marriage? Are you letting frustrations and resentment and anger build up so that you just unleash more in your relationship? Are you putting your kids at the very top and neglecting every aspect of intimacy in your marriage? Like, right?
Yeah,
Like consuming, we didn't
exactly.
even talk about kid stuff, but are you consuming so much of your kids' activities that you don't have time for each other? We have episodes on that. Just, I think that it's really easy to like take literally 2 minutes and be like, what am I consuming in my life? And that makes sense why the level my marriage is at. Like it just kind of all correlates, right?
Yeah.
So
What
pretty
a
simple to do.
what a great way to end. And we hope you enjoyed the podcast as always. Reach out to us, share your thoughts, share any ideas that you have. Also check out our great products we have at shop.ultimateintimacy.com to bring you closer together. And until next time.